up? What up?
Hey everyone.
What's going on? What's up? What's up?
Miss Squirts is on board. Every time we do one of these lives, it takes a while for the guest to get on, and Miss Squirts is like on top of it. I love it. So I think we'll just jump right in, right?
Let's give everybody a minute and let's do an intro.
Okay. So tonight's night school is Breaking 101.
What's up, Sarah's crew? Van Der Esch 55 in the house representing.
We're super excited because this is something that I remember, like, when I first made our Instagram page, I made a story, like, literally just, like, asking what the hell is breaking. Like, I don't know anything about breaking. And a lot of people reached out to help and answer questions. And Sarah was actually one of them. And we have been breaking with Sarah since, like, we started doing breaks. And she was, like, one of the first. She's one of my favorites.
A lot of Kobe Whites came from Oregon.
Yes. So I'm very excited to have her on. And
yeah, I'm good. I mean, she's big time, and for her to take a couple of minutes, she has people like Bro Namath who break with her, and he's like, you know, hobby god status.
Right.
You know what I mean? Puts down the Rolex, picks up the Porsche, you know, has every auto of every big name player in the world all the time. So, you know.
So I'm really excited to have her on, and I'm gonna go ahead and just add her because it takes a second. View request. Go live with Miss.
Revolution Russ, sports cards. What's up? What's up? Hello, friend.
Hi, Sarah.
Hey guys.
How are you?
Been better.
I know. I really appreciate you joining us because I know you're not feeling 100%. So we'll make it quick.
No worries.
It's not going to be quick. And for the breaking world, this is going to be like the Jordan flu game. So I appreciate you, you know, coming on, even though you're under the weather.
No worries.
Under the weather and better than most, though, right?
Correct.
So how are you doing other than not feeling well?
You know, just living, I guess. I mean, we just recently moved, so it's been a rocky year.
Yeah.
It's been a very rocky year. And we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of actually Ethan's aunt who passed away from COVID. So it's kind of bittersweet being here.
Right. I remember that when that happened. That was so sad. I felt so bad for your family.
Congratulations on the new house.
Yeah. I don't know if I want a house anymore. I think I might go back to renting since we lost half our roof in a windstorm. So it's been fun. But, you know,
if it makes you feel any better, we're in the process of putting a pool in. Contractor just like up and disappeared with our money.
Haven't seen it.
Electric panel went out, hot water heater and furnace all like within a matter of like 72 hours. So it was like
I went into
25 grand out the window.
Like an hour.
And my kids are like, oh, that's not a big deal. And I'm like, you have no idea.
Well, and that's like the same thing with ours. Ours is like, so like, isn't that just like easy to do? And I'm like, no, darling, that's not just easy to do.
I wish I was as rich as the kids thought I was.
Right? I wish we had as much money as our kids think.
Me too.
Just put that little card in the machine and the money comes out. Like that's not over.
Well, it's like tonight, because I'm not going in any stores that I feel like crap. But my daughter is like, I'll go buy dinner. And I was like, okay, go ahead. And she's like, I'm just gonna need your credit card and I'm gonna need you to drive me there. And then you need to order it. And I'm like, so what are you doing? Are you picking it up? Like, I can do that. Thanks.
I've got Uber Eats. I don't need you.
We ain't got that here.
Oh.
Mm-mm. We are out in, outside of city limits in Montana. So we are not.
When I lived in Wisconsin, we didn't have any of that. Like, you couldn't get things delivered, you know.
Yeah.
There was Uber, DoorDash, or any of that.
There's DoorDash here. Now there is DoorDash, but it's like, who the hell is DoorDash and Taco Bell? Like, can we get real here, people?
Right.
I don't do it.
You'd be amazed. I feel like people do that.
May or may not have had a couple of drinks and done that before.
Yeah. Well,
a little guilty there.
There's like nothing here. So it's like, I can understand DoorDashing here because like the lines here for everything is like 2 hours long. So I understand, I guess.
So how did you get involved in the hobby and how did you start breaking? I mean, tonight's all about breaking. It's always a fun, light, casual conversation. But we
Yeah.
get messages all the time. We break once in a while, and people just think that breaking is you buy a box, you sell it for twice the price, you make money, and it's easy. And we're hopeful tonight to educate some folks who maybe have aspirations of going that direction, but also from a breaker's point of view, some of the hardships and difficulties that you go through, trying to put on a break. So how'd you get started? And we'll go from there.
So for me personally, I've always been into sports. Huge sports person. I played soccer, I played football, I played rugby. I played sports. And the whole collecting cards thing is really started when I started dating E, um, which was 12 years ago. And so like he was into it, but he wasn't like, we'd go to the dollar store and he'd be like, hey, let's get a pack. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then he'd yell at me for opening it wrong. He'd yell at me for putting like the big number one, in the wrong freaking location at the house. So I always had this kind of edge of like wanting to open stuff, but to really start saying that I actually started collecting, man, it was probably only like about 3 or 4 years ago where I really dug deep into the hobby itself. And I think honestly, what you see and what you think are going to be two different things. To start off as a breaker, you are not going to be making millions of dollars. I have people every day telling me I'm a millionaire. God, I wish. But the thing is like I have always made it my thing that I'm going to make affordable breaks. So if that means that I only make $10 on a break, that means I only make $10, and I'm okay with that, and it doesn't bother me like it would for maybe a bigger breaker. I guess now I'm classified as one of those, but I don't see myself at that level yet. And so I do affordable breaks, and if I don't come out ahead as a millionaire, I don't care. And that's how I've always looked at this. Is it's a thrill. It's an enjoyment for me. And I think if you're enjoying something, that money shouldn't be an issue, and money shouldn't be your main priority. I also have 2 other businesses that I run at the same time. So this isn't my full-time job. This isn't my full-time income. If I wanted to make it that, I could, but I don't want to. I want to do this and have fun with it. And that's where I've drawn the line in the sand with, my life and breaking. We have put, just to throw a number out there, we put about 100,000 into this of our own money. And we've got tons of singles. We got tons of memorabilia. We've got a Kobe ball. We've got a Kobe jersey. We have things that can liquefy to show that, but we put a lot of money of our own hard-earned money in it. Trust me, I hear it from E all the time. And so for us, it's not to flip to make a profit. Yes, I do have distributors now. Yes, I do get some allocations, but I'm not one of one. I'm not at that level. And so I don't get a whole case allocated to me. I don't get this and I don't get that. But I'm okay with what I do get. And I make do. And it is what it is.
I think one thing that you said that we've spoken with a lot of people, and we internally with our business discuss, is when you reach that point where it's no longer enjoyable and no longer hobby, is maybe that's the time to pump the brakes, because we already have, day jobs and things that we do outside of this, that when you reach that certain point, like maybe it's recognized like what's your alley and what makes sense for you. So I think I can appreciate that. And it resonates with us in regards to breaking, is putting on a break that's in an affordable price point for people and not trying to gouge. And that's like a moral dilemma that I have, is when we do a break, is knowing, you hear the horror stories about people going into debt, that I don't want to contribute to that, but I understand the inherent risk that's with that. So to me, it's refreshing to hear that there's other like-minded people who are, when trying to put something on, they want to give value back.
Well, and I guess, if you want to, what kind of brought me into the whole breaking world was a good friend of ours, or was a good friend of ours. We're no longer associates anymore, but was like harping me about, oh, is there any 1920 Prism? I see you do. 1920 basketball around where you're at? I'm like, what the heck is that? Like, I don't even know. Like, I had no clue. And he was like pushing me, and I found like a ton of it, and I shipped it to him, and we started opening it, and that's actually where we open our Zion 9.510 out of. auto, silver rookie auto. And that kind of inspired us. He's like, that's like a $10,000 card. And I'm like, dude, what? It's cardboard. Like, I still have a hard time processing how people spend thousands and thousands and thousands on cardboard. Like, I don't get it, but then I see a card that I like, and then I'm like, I spend $150 on a Nasir, and he's like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, well, it's Nasir. Like, I like him. I PC him. And he's like, he's a nobody. Like, go get a Kobe. I was like, okay, do you have a few grand? Like, get real. And so this is what we always do. And he was going to be down here, but our baby's sick, and I'm not even dealing with that right now. And so, yeah, it's for me, that's where I kind of started like, oh, okay. I went and bought my first case ever of 1920 basketball. I think I spent like $2,500. And to think now that each one of those boxes is worth $2,500 himself, and I opened the whole dang case. Like, I don't understand. Like, I have a few boxes, but other than that, it's like I don't get it in my mind how some of these things get inflated so quickly, and then they tank. And it's like I just I have like about 300 cards I want to send in for grading. Ain't gonna happen. I don't have the patience, and it scares the crap out of me to send cards somewhere and hope to God that they come back in one piece.
I get it. That's a lot of people are like that. So when you talk about, you did say that like you're classified as a bigger breaker now. I would classify you as a bigger breaker. How did you build your community to where it's at now? Do you think it's just because you've always been honest and fair with your pricing and word of mouth, or did you do other things to build your community up?
I'm just me, and at the end of the day, like, I want to know, like, if I were to walk away today, which isn't going to happen, I've got too much product to walk away right now. But if I were to walk away today, I want people to be like they were happy to know who I was as a person. And I wouldn't walk away as opposed to like just cut off my Instagram and never talk to anybody. But if I were to walk away from breaking, like, I want to know that I left a mark, in a good way. Obviously, I don't want to be no bad way, but and that's the thing. It's like, I want to know that I'm doing something for this community and I'm not taking anything away from it in a negative way. Like, I'm not adding more negative to what's already there. I want to only be a positive, and I've always been that way. Before I had 2 kids, before I had 2 other jobs that I was doing, I would, flip around my shipping next day. I mean, I was on top of it. I pushed it. I grind. When everybody's sleeping, I'm still working. I work 16 to 18-hour days, 7 days a week, probably why I'm sick. But, that's how I got my group. And my group has been so solid around me that, like, I don't care if I have 1 million followers or if I have 10 followers. I know those 10 have got my back.
Right.
And that's how I've always been. And so, yeah, I've lost people over the years. I've made mistakes. I'm human. I've sent things to the wrong address, and I've owned up on it. When I make a mistake, I pay you back because that's my mistake. And that's how I've always lived my life, is if I make the mistake, it's not on you, it's on me. And I own up to it. And I don't brush people off. I get to the bottom of things, or I refund you. If I can't do anything, if there's nothing I can physically do because USPS lost it or UPS lost it, you get your money back, because that's just who I am.
We had something where on eBay, not a break, but we had sold a LaMelo rookie, just like a base rookie. It was like $5. It was nothing. But I sent he bought a Threads rookie, and again, it was like the same. It wasn't like the value was the same. I sent him the wrong card. They look exactly the same except for one like had a slightly different. And he messaged me. He's like, "Hey, you sent the wrong card." So I immediately sent out the right card with extra cards and told him to keep the one that I sent him anyways because I felt so bad. So like it's integrity, and I think you're right. Integrity helps build your community, especially people who trust you. And then when you have that integrity, and then it continues on, and then people want to share your page, like, hey, if you're looking to break with this person because you're not going to get ripped off, you're going to get a good deal, and you're going to get good value, and your cards are going to come in like proper order. So that I think that's the most important thing. When you are breaking, how do you determine what products to break? And then like are there some that you absolutely won't break? What's your favorite product? Like, talk a little bit about the product that you choose to break.
So, I actually had an opportunity to do Transcendent, and I don't know if you know that that's a $28,000 product. I actually got it allocated, and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, this is really cool. But since I strive to feed all the fishes and not just the big honchos, I know that my followers were gonna like this idea, but there's just too much money. And see, I have a point, you know, like I paid $16,000 for National Treasure basketball last year. I thought I was gonna get divorced after I did that, because the fact is like that's a crap ton of money. Like that's just a lot of money. And I did that break at cost. I didn't do anything more, and I didn't do anything less. And so I have always been that person that's like, hey, you know, what can I do and make sure that they're happy, but I'm not breaking the bank and they're not breaking the bank. And so for me, so I used to not do baseball. No, if you know me, I don't do baseball, but I do it now because 99.9% of the people want baseball. I suck at it and I know it and I don't care. Like I suck at the names and it is what it is. Soccer is just as bad and I don't care. Like, so mainly I kind of try to find the ones I've got a lot more product. So like Mosaic, you're looking at what, 144 cards, or 120, is it 10 packs, 12, something like that. You're looking at something that has a lot more oomph to it, as opposed to, I don't know, one of one or one and one, and I'd have to get a whole case of it. And then still at the same time, people might not get anything. And I always work with, if you buy into my break and you hit absolutely nothing in my break, you are guaranteed a pack of hobby product. I don't care. You will get something because you took the time, you took the risk, and you went for it. And so here you go. Now, granted, you could go to the store and buy one box. I could buy the other box, and you're gambling already about what's inside of it when you buy the box. But I want to make sure everybody gets something. I'm not going to just be like, hey, you know, good luck. So, but that's just not who I am. And so we always give you something. And that's something we strive behind big time.
When we buy into a break and we don't hit anything, we buy in understanding the risk. We understand that there's going to be nothing, nor do we expect anything. Now, role reversal, when we do a break, I'm like, I want every card to be the greatest thing ever. And then you just feel like complete and total shit if you don't open something, because you know somebody took time to interact with us, which is awesome in itself, to spend their hard-earned dollars. And so I think it's truly admirable that, just like, you know, we did one where a guy didn't get anything, so we're like, hey man, we're gonna get some cards graded for you at our cost because we appreciate you just spent a few $100s with us.
Right. And I think a lot of breakers, you know, not a lot, there are breakers out there who are like, you knew what you were getting into, and I'm not gonna, you know, and again, I like no hate on that either, because it is a business at the end of the day. And if you're going to gamble, you don't go to the casino and be like, oh, I put $1,000 into this machine and I didn't get anything in the casino. You know, they bring you some free drinks. So, I mean, you got that. So,
and then take more money.
And then take more money. No, that's what I'm saying. When you're gambling, and that's what breaking is, it's gambling. Opening wax is gambling, you know, and hobby, like the hobby in general is gambling. Even buying singles, you can buy a single that's a sure thing, and that guy's ACL can be broken. You know, like there's always like I said broken. they can injure themselves. So everything's a gamble, and so you can't. I feel like at some point in this hobby, you have to take some personal responsibility for your own actions. And that being said, it's super cool when you have breakers such as yourself who are mindful of the fact that, you know, somebody is spending money with you, and if they didn't hit anything or if they didn't get a single card, you're still going to send them something. And I think that that helps build your community again. That's another way where people are like, this is a valuable break and I want to be in it.
But I think one thing
Gas rugs.
There's 3 people on here who have all broke, and they're all saying, like, we feel, when we understand the risk that's associated with it, if we run a break and you get empty-handed, we feel bad.
Yeah.
It's
What are some
true.
of the what are some of the other challenges and some of the things that you face breaking that the average person who has aspirations of getting into this isn't thinking about?
Or just people who buy into breaks and are like, oh, why are they charging more for this or whatever? Like, what are some things that people don't think of behind the scenes of breaking?
I think, okay, so I am extremely guilty of this. Before this year, this year's been crazy for us with moving 3 states over, moving all our businesses. So my mind hasn't necessarily been too great on the whole keeping up on things. And I'm completely honest about that and transparent about it. Just like I don't follow all the drafts I usually do, but I haven't this year. And so, I don't know that always the big people and everything. And you just take soccer and baseball right out of this because I don't, even if I did follow it, I still wouldn't know who they were. And so for me, it's really understanding the product. So I will take the time to look at the checklists. I will take the time to figure out, okay, well, if I'm doing, let's say, a case of something, and it's going to produce 4,000 cards, the odds are everybody's going to get a card, at least, base or not. Hey, Gavin. And so it's kind of like I'll sit there so every single break, this is like my geekness. Every single break, I have a spreadsheet that I have for each sport, and each team is on there, and it has the team, and it has the column for how much the team will be, and then at the top, it's like my break itself, and I will literally sit there and handwrite it out, and then I'll calculate it, and then if it's too much, I'll go back through and I'll make it smaller. That's how I do my breaks. And knowing who the big dog is and things always helps you. And I can't say that I'm perfect because I don't, like I said, I don't know baseball. And I have a couple people who have been following me since day one who are amazing Niner faithful. And I will literally go to him and be like, dude, I'm doing a baseball break. I need your help. Hold my hand and tell me who the big dudes are. I'm not afraid to ask for help. And so, and I always do when I need it, but I really do. I look at the checklist. I look at what Panini is, no, not Panini, Beckett. And I see what Beckett's showing. Then I also compare it to Cardboard Connection. I also compare it to group breaks. So I have a really good idea of what I'm getting into. I can't make the Falcons $20 if they've got one player. They're going to be $5. Shit, they might even be free. So like that's how I do my breaks. And but I literally sit down and handwrite out every single team for each break if I'm doing a picture team. And
I know Future Breaks is on here, and I remember one time they drew attention to us. Alex really educated us because somebody was charging a big number. I think it was a box for the Chiefs because there was like this misconception that there was a Mahomes auto on there. And in reality, there wasn't a big card from that. And a lot of breakers were, in fact, like pitching it, whether they didn't do their own due diligence, or they were just misleading on purpose. And so I think, again, that's a testament to, you doing
your
research.
I think that people don't think about the amount of research that goes into understanding the product. And then on top of that, you touched on a really big point about 4,000 cards. We did a case break of Absolute, and the amount of sorting, the time it takes after the break to sort each of those cards, make sure every single person, like you don't accidentally send a card to somebody that it's not their card, or vice versa, whatever. And the cost of and the cost of and the time and energy to sell the break. Have you ever not been able to sell a break, or what happens if you post a break and like 3 people buy in and you needed to sell 8 slots?
We go. If only
what
3
happened?
people buy in, I'll buy the other 7. I don't give a crap. I mean, the thing is if that's not popular for everybody, that's fine. But those 3 people want something. Those 3 people want in on this hobby box that they can't afford at full face value. So let's go. And I will take the other 7. I have no problem filling a break. Like, that sounds really cocky. That's not what I meant. I have no problem in taking the remaining spots to fill a break, to make it go. I know a lot of breakers will do like final fillers and stuff like that. That's actually more gambling than buying a box at a store. And I won't do that. That's not my, that's
So no
not
fillers
my
or razzes or any of that.
Nope.
Yeah. I hate
that.
those.
I
know they're very popular, but I don't like them.
Okay, so I already have a lot of work, and that's just a lot more work. And I'm just like, I'd rather just take them. And you know what? And I think most of the people who follow me and have been in those breaks where I take the other teams, I tend to get the big cards, and I feel like crap afterwards. They're like, oh, look at the house gets this. And it's like, yeah, you could have had that. Like, I know it's a risk, but sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's not. I have come up empty-handed too, and it is what it is.
Cost of doing business, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What about, like, have you ever, we've all seen the videos of, like, someone pulls stuff off camera, whether it's intentional or not, or, like, the internet dies or your power goes out. Have you ever had a nightmare situation in the middle of a break where something like that happens? Like, what do you do? And then what are some things that you've done to kind of insulate yourself or protect yourself from that happening?
Well, I don't rely on Wi-Fi. Found that out real quick. E and I have actually bought lanterns. It sounds so like, yeah.
No.
But we have lanterns that literally like are around, because where we live now, like a windstorm can come in and then you're done. Like you're done for 2 or 3 hours, and I don't have time. Like, so for me, time isn't necessarily money, but time is already allocated somewhere, and so I can't take the time to sit there and be like, hey, yeah, sorry guys, wind just came through, took out my internet. So I rely strictly on my cell phone service, but we do have lanterns that are USB charged, and so they're always charged, ready to go. If I know there's a storm coming, I try to get the randomizing part done, but worst case scenario, I'll just use my tablet. I have had the power go out one time when I was in the middle of a break, and it was just pitch black, and we just lit some candles, because at that time we were in Oregon and we did not have those nice handy dandy lanterns. But the whole off-camera thing, I've had a lot of people who come into my lives and make crap about the fact that, yes, I do take my cards off camera. My husband's sitting right next to me. We bicker 99.9% of the time during a break. And the man's penny sleeving, top loading, doing all that work off camera.
Sure.
The reason why I do not invest in a full panoramic of cameras is because I got little kids. And I'm sorry, I don't want my kid to accidentally walk in, and now she's blasted all over Instagram. I have a very fine, strong privacy in my life. I'm a very open person, but I'm very private, and I want to keep that. And so that's why I don't have cameras surrounding me 24/7 when I'm working or doing breaks. And I've had so much criticism when I first started doing this, that, you don't have cameras, you're taking it off camera, why are you only doing it here? Why aren't you showing it? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, honey, I don't have to explain myself to you. I do what's good for me. If you don't trust me, then that's on you. But you're going to get all your cards. Because let me tell you, when I do a Bowman case and I'm doing what? I don't know, I think there's like 10,000 cards. There's a lot of cards in first Bowman, jumbos, and whatnot. You get all your paper. Even if you tell me you don't want them, no, I don't want them. You are getting them. And so I don't know. I used to have that problem early on, probably about a year ago, when I was really picking up on my following, but not so much anymore.
I feel like you're at the point now, like, with the amount of followers you have and the trust you've built, like,
Yeah.
I feel like people, like, genuinely know what kind of person you are at this point. And
the comments are overwhelming.
Overwhelmingly, like, Sarah's the best. Sarah's so honest. She's amazing. She's my favorite breaker. And I think, like, building up that trust, maybe it took a little longer because you were, moving things off camera. But I've watched you break, and you open the packs, and the cards are on camera. It's just like once you, and we do the same. Like, I open the packs, and then I, set them, and someone else is top loading and penny sleeving them, because how?
Not in that order.
Right. And how could you possibly?
You can. I don't know.
It would be bad for business, but like, at some point, like if you don't like the way someone's doing something, don't buy with them. I do not understand the like negativity or like the need to like have commentary on everything because they have literally the option to not follow or buy breaks from you. So
I think that the only time I've had an issue is draft picks, and I usually don't do draft picks because there's just so much controversy on, well, they drafted here knowing they were going to go here. Well, I use the checklist, and if you don't like that, then don't join. But it's also, draft picks is a lot of work. You think that a regular break where they're in their NFL jerseys or they're in their NBA jerseys is a lot of work. Draft is a lot more work, and I try not to do it because it's not really, people don't care. If you want to talk about a product I don't do a lot of, draft is a lot of it because it's not a highly sought after product, but I do like it because it's the first product.
Sure.
Like, it's like, here they are, but I mean, you can ask E. I have 5 like 3-row things of prism draft picks of NBA. If anybody's looking for the rainbow, I have it. And so, but they just don't move. And so, and it's fine, but it's just, that's probably the one product I do not touch a lot of is draft.
So somebody asked a little earlier, and I just wanted to touch on this since we're talking about like when you get an allocation, you don't always have an option of what you get, right? Like they kind of send some of it, or you have the option to pick, but you're only allocated certain things.
Correct. That's correct.
So when you get they were asking in the thing like, how do you go about getting an allocation? Like, do you have to buy a certain amount? Do you have to like know somebody?
Yep.
Do you have to like?
Yeah, it's all monetary. And so since I don't have a brick and mortar at this point, hint, hint, maybe 2022, there may be a little shop opened up here, but
that's breaking news.
Right here.
Yes, actually, you heard it on Reckless first.
We've actually been looking at a few buildings, so but that's just hush hush right now.
Sure.
But since we're not brick and mortar, I can't get Upper Deck. I get people who ask me all the time, can I get hockey? Can you do hockey? Can you get, or UGO? Dude, I don't know nothing about UGO. I've had like 20 or 30 people come to me asking, because I do Pokemon, but UGO is only for brick and mortar. And I'm like, no, I can't get that. Like, I can't allocate myself to it. I can't even physically buy it unless there's anything left over, and that stuff just goes. But allocations is all monetary. I pay street value. So, I think it's like usually like $10 or $15 difference between what you see, like bigger people selling it at, and that's what I buy. Sometimes it's a little bit bigger margin, but I do the rebuy or resell or whatever. That price is what I usually have to pay. But yes, the more you buy into one sport. So I'm allocated a crap ton of Pokemon because I buy too much of it. But each sport is its own allocation process. So even if, let's say I throw, I think this year we figured that we probably threw about $200K. That's not our money. That's how much we bought on product. And it doesn't matter if I spend $200K all over. It has to be $200K in basketball to get basketball allocations. It has to be $200K in football to get football allocations, and so forth. And it's like 1 or 2 boxes at a time, and it's totally fine. Like I'm totally cool with that. Like I don't hate. Like it just, to me, it's like, yeah, like I got somewhere, But and I just want to crush this right now. I do not have direct distribution from Panini, because Panini and I are very close, but I don't have any type of ties to Panini. I've had a lot of people tell me that I get product right from Panini, and I don't.
Because there's a huge difference between allocation and wholesale, and I think people,
correct,
especially new people, think that allocation means that you're getting it for wholesale prices, and that is not at all what it means. So actually, that's a really important distinction.
Very, it's because it's going to go wholesaler, then it's going to go retailer, and so the wholesaler will sell it to the distributors then sell it to everybody else. So you've got 1, 2, 3, sometimes 3 or 4 chains of command before you actually get the product. But actually, E and I have put in for wholesaling with Panini, and we're on the next bout of that.
Fingers crossed for you guys.
We just have to get a building. That's kind of where we're at right now. So
that's awesome. Well, I hope it works out for you, and I look forward.
That'd be awesome. More product for cheaper prices. That's what I want.
Yes.
So on behalf, because we're going to talk about being females in the hobby here in a little bit. I keep hearing this man E, this guy that's off camera, that's doing the Lord's work. You know, a lot of people don't understand the amount of effort that goes into top loading cards, properly packaging them, all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Can you talk a little bit about E's role in Mrs. Squirts, and then also just kind of talk about like the work that people don't see that goes to executing from opening the cards to getting them to end user?
Okay. So E, okay, if you want to put,
I got you, E.
Yeah, well, E can't hear you, so that's good. E's upstairs and I'm downstairs. I mean, he might be able to hear you. I don't know. But he is he's a special kind of man. I love him. Don't get me wrong. But he does that one side of like, that's his thing. He doesn't like this. He doesn't he does UFC, because I hate UFC. I mean, I don't hate it, I just can't do it. Those names are even worse than anything else. So he likes doing what he does because he can still be part of it. But that's what he does. He does the top loading, he does the penny sleeving, and then sometimes he'll help organize breaks. But 95% of everything that's done is me. He'll help me pack sometimes too. He'll help print. He won't help print labels. That man doesn't do that. I do that. But he'll help put labels on. The thing is like, I work with you guys. You know, like, this is me. I completely control the Instagram account. So I know everybody on a personal level. So when I'm like, oh yeah, that's Joe's pack, he's like, who the heck is Joe? And he's like trying to figure out who he is, because sometimes I put your IG name on there. Sometimes I put your real name on there. And he's just like, I don't know who's who. And I was like, I understand. I got it. Okay. So he does what he can. But he also takes all your packages to USPS or UPS. I mean, it is a huge burden. Well, not burden, but bagging. It's just a lot of work. I mean, just from buying the product, putting it on the stand, you know, you all picking your whatever, your teams, your spots, whatever, breaking it. So randomizing, I get that set up, breaking it, him top loading everything, and he tries to keep up with me, which I'm a lot quicker than he is sometimes with names and whatnot. So that by the time we're done with that break, because if we're doing 20 breaks in one night, that break's ready to go into our filing cabinet or filing system, so that when we get ready to sort it, it's there and it gets put right into it, no problems. But he takes care of all that and all the mess and all that type of stuff. He's definitely a huge backbone of our company and whatnot, and us in general. I would not be anywhere where I am now without him. You know, I don't know if y'all know what our company stands for, but it's supposed to be Rise Above. That's what it says, which is our kids' initials. And our goal is to always rise above in life and just be, you know, just one step higher. And so, not necessarily saying that we're bigger and better than people, because that's not the case. But we're just us, and we just like to be us. And he's a very quiet person. Like, he keeps to himself, very private. You think I'm private? That man's more private than I am. And so social media isn't his thing. So I take care of that part of it, and he helps me with everything else. But definitely wouldn't be anywhere near it. I wouldn't be able to get through a break in one night without him. I can top load.
It would be hard to do it just one person.
It is, and I know how to do it, because I've done it before. When he decides to go run an errand right before a break, and I tell him no, and he goes, and I have to do the break myself. Like, I can do it. It's just, it's a lot quicker for everybody if it's next to me. I mean, that's it.
So like Jeremy touched on, I'm obviously I'm like we're 50-50 in ours, like where you're more like the main face of your business. We're 50-50. And I find sometimes a lot of the time when people are talking to us like in our DMs and stuff, they just assume that they're talking to Jeremy. And so I get a lot of, hey, what's up, bro? Or how you doing, dude? And it makes me laugh. And I'm like, whatever you say, man. But talk a little bit about what it's like being a female breaker in a very heavily male dominated industry. Do you find that you feel maybe like you're treated differently, or do you feel like it didn't matter?
I didn't know there was males in this hobby. Just kidding. Just kidding. Some of these
Four people
males,
just dropped off the live.
I know, like,
Man,
bye.
FDC.
Deuces. No, I mean, because there's a lot of crybabies on here, so I just don't. Sometimes it's hard to know that there's actually males. I'm just kidding. Honest to God, like,
She wasn't though.
I'm not. But I'm very down to earth, and so like I shoot the crap with men better than I do with women. I'm gonna be 110% because that's who I am. I don't like hanging out with women because I can shoot the crap with men. I shoot guns, I hunt, I fish, I like football, I like sports, I like cardboard. Like, that's not normal. I play video games. I get so much crap because my nails aren't always done when I break. I'm sorry. I try. I mean, like, come on. I got 2 kids and a man-child upstairs. And
who would ever say anything to a man about the way his nails look during a break, though? Like, nobody would say that. That's the frustrating.
That's the thing. It's like that's cool. And like, and there's this one person that does it all the time, and it's just like, and it's usually on like my crappiest day, and it's like, dude, not today. Like, my nails look like crap, and I don't care because I was out in the garden for 2 hours. I don't know what you were doing, but that's the thing. I don't care. It just rolls off my back. Like, if you can't roll with the punches, and you can't roll in life, and so males.
And I don't want that Luca RPA. You don't have your acrylics done. Take that shit. Take it.
I'll keep it. It's okay.
I paid for gel tips, son.
So like, I'm the opposite. I feel like I'm a very girly girl. Like, I like to do my hair, and I like to wear makeup, and I don't hunt or shoot guns. But I understand sports, and I watch sports, and I like sports, and I like collecting cards, and I have for years and years. Yep. And I think sometimes it's not necessarily whether you hang better with women or you hang better with men. You should be able to have a space in this hobby regardless. And that's like my opinion. And so like I personally sometimes have people like over negotiate with me in a way where like I'll be talking to somebody, negotiating a deal or a card or whatever, and I have them like try to explain to me what I should be doing while they're negotiating with me. And I often find that like Jeremy's like, why is this person even doing that? I'm like, it's because I'm a woman. And so they and that I do find frustrating. It doesn't happen all the time. And overwhelmingly my experience in the hobby is incredible.
You're supposed to be stupid about sports. And
right.
And I think that's when we come back at them and we're all like, dude, I know that he just threw down 20 freaking points last night. Like, I don't know where you're coming at me with, do you think this card's $2? Like, I posted that Luca RPA for sale just for craps and giggles because I don't really want it to leave. And so I posted it, and I was, I think I was asking $4K for it, which is nothing for a Luca National Treasure on card auto. And this guy comes back and goes, that's a $40 card. And I'm like, okay. I just let it go. See, there's this really cool thing in my DMs where I can block you and never see your face again. So I just took it as maybe you were having a moment and you needed to come to Jesus moment. So I just let you be. Well, then you do it again when I post, I think it's I have an on-card Kyler as well in my Kobe's. And I posted them, and they're all like, that's like a $10 card. I was like, and that was it. That was it. And I just said, well, it's really nice that you have an opinion about something, but I'm going to have an opinion about blocking you. So please go do yourself a service and go find somebody else, because this is annoying. And I'm not a stupid woman. So deuces. And I blocked that person. They made another account and did it again. But I mean,
Like, why are you so obsessed with me, sir? Like, leave me alone.
I don't know. I don't know.
Stop.
I mean, most of the time, yes. I definitely have a. I'm not a tomboy because that's not a thing in my life. I am very girly girl too. I get my hair done, I get everything done, but not when I'm sick and I feel like death. So you're all gonna get what you're gonna get.
I think you look gorgeous. You look gorgeous.
Well, I feel like crap, but thanks.
I love your glasses. They're very pretty.
No, I have to. They're blue light ones because it's like.
Oh yeah, I got that.
I'm going blind.
I know, from the computer screen. Same. I'm like, can I not read this card because I'm old, or is it just from looking at screens all the time?
And I wear it all the time now when I break, and he's like, dude, you look like an idiot. And I'm like, that's sweet. You look like
Mind your business. Mind your business, sir. No, I think what all the points you made are incredibly valid, and I like have experienced similar situations. Sometimes I like also get like a lot of like grossness, like
yeah.
I had to block a pretty prominent guy that like has a lot of followers because, and we share this account. Like, it's not just me, and anyone who messages us knows that they're gonna talk to either of us. So when he was like sliding into the DM saying very inappropriate things to a married mother, where our kids are on ours, people see our kids, they know we're married, we have children, and I'm like, where did you think this was gonna go? Like, why would you say that to me in a DM that first of all, I'm not interested, and second of all, my husband can read this, so like
I'll be damned if I'm married to the first Jezebel of the hobby.
Yeah, so like, but people don't send him messages like that. Well, let's be frank, there's not a lot of women in this hobby.
Great.
A ton of them, and most of them comport themselves with better behavior than a lot of the men. So
well, and it's funny. It's like, people do it with me too. Obviously with my name. And
I think we're gonna ask you about your name. What? We want to know about the name. Is it what? Okay.
Well, we'll keep it G-rated, and we will say it's because I like the Pokemon Squirtle, which isn't a lie. So I'm not going to hell tonight.
You're my favorite person forever now.
And I'm also short, and so we kind of go with that too. But no, like I get him all the time, and I'm like, here, E, you want to read this? And he's like, what the heck? And he's like, he'll always be like, what? People just shoot their shot all the time, and I was like, yeah. And I get it on Xbox too, because they always think I'm a little boy, and I'm like, dude, I got this, and this, and they're like, oh, you're a chick, and I was like,
yes.
Yeah, and I just went 20-0. What's your point? Mic drop.
It's worse on TikTok because it's like almost solely me on our TikTok. So like people don't know about Jeremy as much on there. So I get a lot of really horrible DMs. Yeah. And I'm just like, I am old. Like, stop. Like, don't talk to
It's flattering. Like, I appreciate it. Like, that's great. You only want me for my cardboard. Like, you don't really care about anything else. Like,
yes, you want my PC. I know what it's about.
Not stupid.
So, no, yeah, it's so funny. So, we've kept you. You're not feeling well. So, we're going to end with 2 more questions. The first question is, what is the worst box you ever ripped? Like, where you were just like, oh my God, this is the worst break I've ever done.
Oh, man. Well, when it comes to quality control, there's an abundance of options. Shoot. I think it was Prism Football. Want you for your PC. Oh, jeez. Chef's in the house. But so I bought, okay, you all know, what was it? What year are we in? 2021? 2020? Is that Herbert's year? Yeah. 2020 Prism Football. First off the line. You know Prism's a hot product. It is what it is. First off the line is just as expensive because it usually has all those little goodies in it. And Panini's kind of gone away with all the goodies. Well, I don't know about anybody else, but first off the line should be primo of the crop. It should be literally the perfect boxes because it is the first off the line. That's kind of where I think of things. No. I bought a full case of first off the line, probably roughly about 15K. Okay. I threw 15K down at this. And 8 or 9 boxes. Oh God, Ronnie's here. 8 or 9 boxes the cards inside were smashed. Like they were in production were smashed. Then out of those 8 or 9 boxes, 6 of them didn't have the first off the line exclusive.
Oh.
Which that's always fun when you're doing a break and you're like, hey, guess what? I'll touch base with Panini that won't get back to me. And so it's like that was the worst because that was an expensive break. And I literally all the bases were destroyed. And people want bases even if they're rookies. And so all destroyed. Just and in production. Like there was no saving it. And it was like I just wanted to just give everybody back their money and just be like, I am so freaking sorry. I'm pretty sure on that break we gave out elite football packs, first off the line ones to go with people, because I wasn't happy. I think you're supposed to have 2 autos in those, and I think out of 8 boxes we only had 8 autos, so we were missing half the autos, half the first off the line, and had all damaged cards. Oh. And on such a very heavy product that people are like looking forward to, knowing that your boxes that you probably have left are crap, it's like I'm sitting on them because I'm not going to break them. Like,
did Panini make you whole?
What?
Did Panini make you whole or do anything to?
No. Oh, you know what they did? I sent all the base cards that were ruined. They sent me all new base cards back. Oh. I'm still waiting for the autos. I'm still waiting for the first off the line exclusive, which I won't get. And it's, to me, that's disheartening, because whenever we have a bad box, I always grab another thing of product. When we lived in Oregon, my product literally was like right next to me. Now it's kind of in 2 different spots of the house, and so it's not as easy, but we always have extra product around us and we will break in. I know at no cost. I have done first off the line boxes and they were crap, and I will pull in another first off the line at no cost to anybody else. And yes, I'm eating it. Who should be eating it? It's probably Panini, but sure, it's fine. You know, I want them to be happy right now. I'll deal with the crap behind the scenes, but it is. See,
that's so much that people don't know when you're doing the breaking, that like you're bearing, like when people are like, oh, I'll just buy my own wax. Why would I break? Well, because if you buy your own wax and that happens, that you're on the line for it. Now that makes you on the line for it. When it's just it's disheartening and frustrating to see that with something that people spend so much money on, you know, like it's like you spending the money on it aside from the breaking, just like the amount of money that is spent on cards and product, to have it come damaged and like not be able to get it resolved is incredibly frustrating. I couldn't even imagine.
Well, and that's like, you know, if you think about it, some people save up so much money, you know, to get to this point where they can buy this one box out of the whole year. And if one of my boxes came out of that case, I would never open a box again at full price.
No,
never.
It destroys the hobby for people when they, you know, they're excited about something and that happens. So I agree with you 100%. So in a more positive note, we'll end this on what was the, like, if you have more than one, but like your best, biggest, most exciting hit.
Oh man. It was probably when we did the, God, what was that called? Leaf something another. I like Leaf products. You all can come at me and say I'm weird, but it was the one that was like had like 12 different items in it, and I did a hit draft on it. We pulled the Kobe auto ball out of it, and awesome. So we did. Actually, I did random of the names and random of the products, and we got the Kobe ball. I have never like dropped them, like just stopped talking until that happened. So I think, I've pulled tons of like big cards, and I pulled the 1 of 1, Aaron Rodgers. What is that? Flawless with the gems, shield. We've actually sold that in Chicago, but we
irony.
No. Huge Aaron Rodgers fan, so that's cool. But I mean, I don't know. I've got tons of cards that I have personally that I have pulled that I've kept myself. I've pulled tons for other people. And honestly, like, I think just the thrill of like not knowing, like I don't think I ever pulled a color burst other than, what's his name? I don't know, it was basketball. But I like things like, oh, I want to go for the kaboom. I mean, okay, I have 2 boxes. Like the likelihood of hitting a kaboom are like none. But the thought of knowing you can is always fun for me. And so I get excited about stupid things like that. Like just opening a pack and like, oh, maybe there's a kaboom. And E's always there like, no, stupid. Like there's probably been 20 other boxes in the case and this is the one. That's not it. But
Gotta have that
I don't know.
positive energy.
I just know if you pull a Karl Anthony Towns, you're calling him Kitty Cat. That's death, taxes, and calling Karl Anthony Towns Kitty Cat are the 3 things I know are certain.
And Tristan Cheaton Thompson.
Yes.
Yeah. There's some other ones, but yeah, no. I think that, you know, the more I can pull for other people and get rid of makes me feel better, because I know a lot of people who do save up to get into breaks too. And I have known a couple people who have sold cards that I have pulled for them and it has benefited their family. And that's kind of more important to me than me having it. I don't need anything. I have my family and I have my community, and that's all I need. And, you know, if I have a Kobe ball. I also have a Jimmy G helmet and a Barry Sanders helmet. And God only knows what I'm ever going to do with any of those. But I have them. And so, but I don't need them. And that's why I always try to get rid of things. I do, you know, my base boxes where I throw in color. I throw in numbered cards because have it. I ain't got time to like list. I literally list probably about 50 to 60,000 cards. I don't have time for that. So you have a heyday, you look at it, you like it, good. You have it, not mine. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, I would say if anybody ever sees her posting those like blind boxes where they're like the cost of shipping or a couple dollars, buy them, because they are chock full of value. And then they're also great for the kids because it gives them a lot of like cards to
Our
play
kids
with.
had so much fun opening one from Sarah. It was awesome. So
after I picked through and took all this stuff worth money.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you something. It's been a joy having you on, and I hope you feel better soon. Thank you so much. We usually do a giveaway at the end. I don't know if you watch any. So for this giveaway, we're going to do 2 giveaways. So the first one is we're going to pay for $20 in break credit for Sarah with Miss Squirt's break. So whoever wins will get $20 in credit towards a break with Sarah that we will cover. And then we're going to
Don't worry about covering it. Don't worry about covering it. I'll make it 50.
50?
We'll match your 50. We'll match your 50 and we'll make it 100.
Okay. We'll do that.
I'm not taking your money. So
Stop.
I'll send it friends and family and block you. Boom. Chuck up them deuces like
we all know you won't, because what do you have? You don't have
Hey, you're not going to come onto our shit and big time us on our own shit. So. You know what I mean? So if you're going 50, we'll match your 50. That's $100 in the bad
I'm going to go
1,000.
You get a no, I'm kidding.
Please, I do stupid shit out of spite all the time. So yes, if we have to go 1,000, I will go 1,000.
I do too.
So what I need you to do, Sarah, is write a number 1 through 20 down on a piece of paper near you.
Oh, I didn't know I needed things. Hold on.
Sorry, it's my bad.
No, it's fine. I'll just put it on my bill. Literally my bill. Okay.
And then once you have it written down, let us know, and the people in the comments can start guessing, and whoever you see,
not us, because inevitably we get 75 messages. We said the number first, so it's whatever you see.
So once you have it, let us know.
I have it.
All right. So everyone in the comment section, guess a number 1 through 20. Whoever gets Sarah's number first gets $100 in break credit with Miss Squirt's card.
And shout out to the guy who will guess the same number 9 times as if it's going to change.
Yep, Springs got it.
Springs, 13. All right, excellent. So Spring Sports Cards, you get $100 in break credit with Miss Squirts, and we will link up with you, Sarah, once he decides what break he wants or whatever.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone. Sarah, I hope you feel better. I hope
Thank you.
everything with the house gets better. I know how that goes. It sucks. It's the worst.
It's
So, like,
a lot of work.
it is. It's so much work. Being a homeowner is not what it's chalked up to be.
No.
It's just not.
No.
So you have a good night. Thanks,
You too.
everyone. Spring
Thank
Sports
you.
Cards, slide into the DM, and we'll talk to you all later.
Sounds
Bye.
good. Good night, guys.